The Justice Department announced today that it will investigate the spike in harassment, intimidation, and violent threats against school board members across the country. Now, for months, school board meetings have devolved into screaming matches with fury-fueled rants and even physical fights with raging parents.
Down. We know who you are. We know who you are. You can leave freely, but we will find you, and we know who you are. Never be allowed in public again.
Get real. Stand up. Face the facts, guys. This is happening. We need to get up, stand up.
I will be disrespectful however I want. You do not get to tell me how I get to act.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
But I guess if we're to follow the logic of this board, I assume Rosa Parks should have just taken a seat in the back of the bus.
Fists are now flying. All of this on live television. Fists are flying. Now we can see the sheriff's deputies are coming out here to get between the two groups.
In recent months, adults across the country have taken to throwing tantrums like the children they say they're looking out for. The federal government is now stepping in. In a memo released today, Attorney General Merrick Garland wrote in part, "In recent months, there has been a disturbing spike in harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff who participate in the vital work of running our nation's public schools." The move comes less than a week after the National School Boards Association requested federal help in dealing with rising number of threats made against the educators. Police have been called to school board meetings in countless states. School board members outside Columbus, Ohio, received threatening letters that started with, "We're coming for you." Not surprisingly, this has led board members to resign over fears for their safety. Now, let me be clear. Debating something like mask mandates is a legitimate issue. And this is different from the political questions of governors, for example, in 9 states who've tried prohibiting mask mandates in classrooms. There are also other hot topics on the agendas. But we're not just talking about raised voices. In August, a Tennessee school board meeting devolved into a horror show as an angry mob descended on healthcare workers who'd asked the board to reinstate its school mask mandate. That same month, a Kansas woman went on a rant about COVID-19 being a lie and the vaccine being a bioweapon before trying to intimidate her local government into blocking a mask mandate.
Nothing can stop what is coming. You vote yes, you will all be tried for crimes against humanity.
Hundreds of clips from these meetings can be seen on YouTube, Facebook, etc. Watching them can often feel like you're in an alternative universe, as was mocked on Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Hello, my name is Jane Nordling Smythe. I am concerned and I am also crazy. Let's begin. The Johnson and Johnson are from because of Fauci, okay?
Look, I support dissent, including vigorous dissent, on an important debate about masks and other issues related to our kids. I get it. But what is it about this that is so much more infuriating than other, let's say, vaccine mandates or in schools or other requirements from schools or the government? Some of the angry folks say the confrontational meetings are a result of a disconnect between school boards and parents. Others say there's no need for the federal government to step in. Well, joining me now to discuss is Dan Rash. He was one of the 3 school board members in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, to resign, citing the toxic behavior and the hyper-partisan environment within the board. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. All right, first let me ask you, what has changed? I've got to believe that school board meetings can get heated, right? People disagree. What have you seen that was so different now than you saw, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, thank you, Dan, for having me on. I really appreciate that. Without question, it's that rhetoric. It's clearly hostile, the anger in the voice, the accusations that we don't care. You know, we're public servants, we're elected, we're looking out for every student, but yet the current groups that are being organized to attend, they heckle, they shout, they interrupt. They have a target on us. They want their way, and there's no compromise to it.
So I have to ask, though, threats are a different story, right? The feds stepping in is a big deal. Some people are going to say, you know, why can't local officials deal with this kind of stuff? This is more, I assume, than just people yelling, right?
Very much so. I mean, our resignation, I just want to be clear, Dan, it wasn't because of the hostility towards us. I have a correctional background, so I've been through that type of rhetoric. But what we need to do is to help notify our community to what is going on within our school boards. This is a new behavior. What you've shown on camera is happening. That is happening within our school boards. At the beginning of this, there was an organized protest to block our entry into the building. We received a media post that one of the people was going to be carrying as we attempted to enter the building. So the local law enforcement was called. The group was ushered onto the sidewalk, and the threat was investigated. But this is definitely at a higher level than just that dissent or disagreement. There's a no holds barred, one way, one solution without empathy or compromise, looking at all kids. And the communities have to know that this is what's going on.
So to be clear, you think that the national organization asking for help from the federal government was necessary?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. There has to be some protection here for school boards where, you know, you may get a stipend, but when the focus is off of the children now, and it becomes centered around an object like masks or my First Amendment rights or my Second Amendment rights, that's taken a different tone. And I don't believe our community alone can deal with that. We need help.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, and it seems that the Attorney General is now taking this seriously. And I have to say that, you know, I've heard some say, well, you know, why is the federal government getting involved here? You know, what would be the purpose of that? And I think that when you see what's happening nationwide, at least investigating this on the part of the Justice Department makes sense to me. Dan Rash, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your perspective. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dan.